Hi, welcome back to Basement Backgammon. On this episode, we'll be looking at problem 188 in Bill Robertie's 501 Essential Backgammon Problem Series. In this problem, black is to play a 4-3. You will notice that white owns the cube. That's important because we are in a blitzing position. We're going for gammon. Having the cube in play obviously gives us much better gammon chances. And in a money game situation that this is, it's the only way to get a gammon. Jacobi rule is in play. And 4-3, you'll notice that white is also on the bar. We have a blot inside of our home board and a blot here on 8. White has a blot here on 11 as well as being on the bar. So 4-3, there's a lot of different plays you can make here. This is a really nice problem that I really enjoy looking at, and I think you will too. So take 10 seconds, really look it over, look at all the possible plays, evaluate each one, hit the pause button if you need more time, because you might, and we'll come with Robertie's answer in 10 seconds. Okay, so Robertie's answer is to pick up a second checker with 18 to 11 hit. And it leaves a lot of blots out here, but let's read why that's the case. Robertie actually lays this one out very nicely. So in conducting a successful blitz, the really tough plays are those which give a choice between making another inner board point and hitting a second or third checker. Position 188 is a typical example. Black can make an inner point in a variety of ways. He can cover the ace point with 8 to 1. He can build the 3 point with 7-3, 6-3. Or he can make the 4 point with 8-4, 7-4. And his final choice is to hit with 18 to 11. But what's right? The best point-making play is 8 to 1, which has the added virtue that it cleans up a blot. And if black gets hit from the bar, his blitz could bog down quickly. Making the 3 point is a little better than making the 4 point, since it starts to develop the big stack on 6 point. The trouble with all of these plays, however, is that white is a big favorite to simply enter from the bar and move the checker on the 11 point, after which black's attack may lose steam. The best play is to hit a second checker with 18 to 11. This brings another builder to bear on the 5 point, while gaining 18 more pips in the race. And now, more than half of white's numbers leave him with at least one checker on the bar, and black's attack still raging. So, what is Robertie saying here? Well, obviously, this blot is dangerous to our blitz. Fine, understood. But the more checkers we have on the bar, the less dangerous this becomes. Because if white hits, and by the way, we already have the 6 point covered, if white hits, it's going to be harder for them to get out. But covering it directly, this would be the best of the point-making plays, right? Because now we have 3 points. White's here in the original position. White is still a huge favorite to come in. And if white does come in, he can clean this up with a 6 or a 1 to go with it. So 3-1, 3-6, 4-1, 4-6, 5-1, 5-6. All clean up this blot, as well as 5-5 or 4-4 or 3-3. So there's a lot of numbers where white can come in, and this is now safe. And even so, not in just making it safe, but even moving it and missing and then jumping over on the next play means we don't have the chance to pick up a second checker. So what are the chances that white can come in here? A good rule of thumb is that if there are 3 points open, it's about a 75% chance that white can come in with a single roll. 2 points open, about a 50% chance. 1 point open, it's a little more than 25% chance. It's about a 30% chance to come in. So 30, 50, 75, and a higher 80-something% chance with 4 points. But here we have 3 points, still not as good as picking up a second checker. When we pick up a second checker, it's true we want to avoid the 1 because we have to use half of our next roll to come in, although it's an open board. I'm not too worried about that. But we still have a chance to either re-hit to put a second one on the bar. Even if white does hit, there's a bunch of numbers where a 2 or a 6 becomes part of white's roll. So 1, 2, 1, 6 are both situations where white can hit but still be up on the bar. And there's a bunch of rolls where white just simply comes in and now is facing 4 different checkers to point on their head. So tempo allows you to decide for this particular play a little better because white needs both numbers to come in, gives us time to cover, and gives us time to make the 5-4 3 points. Let's throw it over to XG and see what if XG agrees. Is putting 2 on the bar better than making the 1 point? I'll be back with that in just a moment. And we're back with our XG analysis of problem 188. Robertie says 18 to 11 hit is the answer here to play a 4-3 rather than 8-1 or make an inside point. Let's see what XG has to say. And XG disagrees, but only by a little bit. XG says 8-1 is the proper point-making play and the proper play overall. 18 to 11 is a second option with a 1.8% equity loss. The other options were to make exactly as Robertie said, make the 4-point is the next best point-making option, 2.5% equity loss. Make the 3-point is a 4.6% equity loss. So Robertie got it right, and this one's kind of like a feel situation. You're only losing 1.8% equity. It really depends on how you want to play this, but 8-1 is overall in a 2,500 game rollout is the best option. This is going to gain you the most equity over the long haul. However, I accidentally calculated this initially with different settings, and I forgot to send the cube. So the cube is already white already has the cube for this particular problem. I had centered the cube and done it and found vastly different results. So I'm going to show that right now. Here it is. When you center the cube and there's no cube in play and therefore no gammon because of the Jacobi rule, 8-1 becomes the better play by a huge margin. 18 to 11 hit is a 20.7% equity loss if there is no cube. But if there is a cube, it becomes virtually indistinguishable. And really, we're talking about gammon chances here. You have a 36.9% gammon chance if you hit. Let me actually go back to the original. You have a 37.3% gammon chance if you hit, and then you have a 35.3% gammon chance if you don't hit. So really, it's not a huge gammon chance difference, but for some reason, there's a huge difference in the equity loss if there is no cube. So basically, what XG is trying to say here is if you're going to hit, you're going for the gammon. That's the reason you're doing it. And you should only do that when the cube has been thrown in a money game in Jacobi. So obviously in a match play where gammons are important, 18 to 11 hit is going to become more important overall as a choice. So this one was kind of interesting. I hadn't seen the difference between the cube and not in the cube. I might try doing some of that with other problems and see if there's a massive equity difference as there was here. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you liked the analysis. Please hit like on the video and please subscribe to the channel. That's important. This was 188 and I'll see you tomorrow with video 189. Thanks a lot.